Whoa, something happened to our title slide. Amy?
Thanks. Go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Brooks. I'm the Director of Meetings and Conventions for the ODA, and Amy Semenya is here with me this morning, our manager of the exhibits, and so many of you work directly with her. I want to thank Jefferson for his kind words and concern, and as tried as it is, here we are all in this together. This would have been it still is, the 154th annual session of the Ohio Dental Association. And the Ohio Dental Association prides itself on being a member organization here to serve members. And for 154 years, we have gathered together to talk about dentistry, to promote dentistry, to learn about dentistry, and to join in together in an engaging opportunity to promote dentistry. They've done this through World War II. We had our meeting live, and some of you will remember, like Amy and I do, in 2001, right after 9/11, our meeting was live on site and in person. So not to have a live meeting to this organization is really quite humbling in many ways. But the most important thing that we wanted to be able to do is to provide this resource to our members and to their team. And you, our exhibitors, are a valued partner in all of this. You have been through those 154 years in some way or another. You certainly were in 2001, right with us and standing. And we're really proud that you're with us here this year in this very new format. It is virtual. It is new to all of us. I believe that we've tried to put forth something that we all can be proud of and experience from and benefit from. Your input is extremely important to us. No question is a dumb question. No question is every question is an out of the box question, and we'll take it as that. I've said to people through this process that it's not hard to be innovative and cutting edge and take chances when you have no other choices. And I kind of feel like that's where we are right now. So we've talked enough. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being in this with us. And Jefferson, thank you for, again, being a valued partner with us as well. We appreciate it. Are you with us, Jefferson?
Yes, I am with you. Thanks. Yes, Suzanne, great opening. The integrity, the caring just shines through from your organization, not only in, the loss of not being able to do the live event, but the way you've done this. Again, I've worked with over 40 to 50 shows a year, and I have not seen a single show offer their exhibitors the option to virtually exhibit essentially for free. So we want to make sure that you're prepared. The other thing you're doing that most aren't doing is providing virtual exhibitor training. I'm amazed at how many shows so far have drugged their exhibitors into a virtual event with nothing but logistical operational training. And what we're going to do here today is make sure that every one of you on this webinar with us today have the confidence and have the know-how to create your virtual exhibit experience, how to optimize the functionality of the platform we're using, and how to drive traffic to it. And if you do those two things, you will have a great experience. So I'm having a problem, as most of you probably saw when I go full screen. The fonts are completely freaking out. Let me see if it's happening on other slides or just my title slide. It looks good here. Please bear with me if the fonts go wonky as we move through this. I will go back to the smaller screen version. Most of you have heard from me, so no big backstory. The big backstory that I would share, my world, I really live in the trade show space. On March 13th, the walls started falling. my entire year canceled completely. So I immediately wanted to skate where the puck was going, like the great Gretzky. Don't skate where it is, skate where it's going. So I immediately realized that virtual exhibiting was going to be the future for now. I think we're all praying this is not the new normal forever. I don't think it will be. We're going to come out of this. But what I did was started looking at the different virtual event platforms that were out there, and I started looking for the core exhibitor-facing functions. And I gathered my team of 10 trade show experts, and we started talking about how do we optimize the common functionality of the virtual exhibit platforms. And now when we work with a client like ODA, we do a deep dive on the individual platform and really come up with a series of strategies, ideas, and best practices to help you do that. So I've learned a lot over the last 30 years, but boy, this last 6 months, it's been quite a journey. So let's jump into this. So virtual events, right? Face-to-face events. What's different? What's similar? What are some of the benefits? Some of the pros of the virtual event is, number one, is you don't have to get on an airplane. You don't have to get in a car, right? So that travel saves time for you and the dental professionals and saves money, right? And so that's an advantage of this when you look at it. The second one is, when you hold a live event at a convention center, it's open 2 days. For the most part, when the doors close, the event is over. But not true here. Not only will the event be live for 2 days, but your virtual exhibit and your ability to interact with the dental community who registered and attended is all the way through the end of the year. So we've extended the life of the event from 2 days to 4 months? That's a big advantage. The next one is the market reach. There's, not every practice can close down the practice and send everybody to the meeting, and now that we're on the web, the ability to access a larger audience, reach the attendance, if you will. And so to me, it's a really exciting benefit about this. Next is the dynamics shift a little bit. When you have your booth set up, at the convention center and the dental professionals walk into the exhibit hall and they're kind of walking up and down the aisles, or they're out in the lobby, or they're in an educational session or at a social event, the interaction tends to be somewhat spontaneous, right? They happen to pass by your booth, they go, oh, that looks cool, and they go in, right? Well, what's cool about the virtual space is we can be very intentional about driving interactions with people because we know who's registered, we know who is logged in, and we have the ability to interact with them through some functions that make it different than live and kind of exciting, right? You actually have a little more control. Believe it or not, which is kind of weird, but very true. So it's a difference between spontaneous and the ability to execute more intentional. The other thing, which is exciting, for the most part, you have no idea how many people passed by your booth at a live show. Many of you, unless you're scanning or capturing everybody, you probably have no idea how many actually stopped and interacted. There's a digital footprint in the virtual space, and we know the attendees. We know who attended. We know how many times they logged on. We know how long they were on for. You'll know how many visited your booth. You'll have access to this digital footprint, which is unlike anything you've ever had before in your history. And I think these are, if we can shift away from maybe the skepticism or the uncertainty and begin to realize there's some super cool advantages here, then we can jump on board and make this happen. And to me, the big thing is, right, is there's 3 primary reasons why dental professionals go to, meetings and trade shows. And number one is they go to learn. Well, they're going to be able to learn online. They go to network. They're going to be able to network online. They go to find products and services for their practices. They're going to be able to do that online. So we're really still going to be able to address the three primary reasons why people attend live shows. And so if you're watching this webinar in replay mode and you're like, well, I think I'll just set this year out and, wait for next year's show, I would encourage you to rethink that, especially given the fact that ODA has been so generous and gracious to essentially give you complimentary access to this as a paid exhibitor. That's kind of blows me away. When Amy and Suzanne told me they were doing that, I almost fell out of my chair because I haven't heard anybody do that. And again, it just speaks a lot to their commitment to you, the exhibitor, and helping your organization. It's like we said in our marketing, you still got goals to achieve. You still got customers to serve, right? Your customers have new problems, new needs. I was at my dentist for the first time. We closed down here in March. I finally got a cleaning in June, and everything had changed. And he was telling me about the challenges and all the new needs that he has as a result of the pandemic. And these dental practices and professionals are looking directly to you, the exhibitor, right, to help them solve these problems and overcome these challenges. So this is not the time. I'm a clear call to action. If you think this is a smart time to just step out and go dark until next year, I think it's a very dangerous assumption. Key phrase in business, out of sight really is out of mind. And today, with the amount of data and information that's coming at people, I think one of the biggest mistakes a company could make is to go dark during this pandemic. And ODA has made it virtually a no-brainer for you not to do that. Okay, so let's keep rolling. Challenges, okay, there's some cool things about it, but like anything, it's different, and there's some things that are different. And, number one is we really don't have as much control over how much time and attention, that they spend while they're at a virtual event. When you're kind of sitting at home on your computer, many people are still sheltering in place. They're working from home. The distraction level is magnified. There's a lot higher, I know here in North Carolina that our public schools are closed. So parents are now not only trying to manage their careers and their jobs, but they're having to manage homeschooling at the same time. So the distraction level is higher, and we just don't seem to have as much control. And content marketing, write that phrase in your workbook, content marketing, your ability to understand that it's not so much about the products and services, but it's around the content around your products and services, the story, the problem, the implications, the solution, the value, right? And your ability to create rich media because, it's different now, and you don't have to just sit on there and just chat with people. If you want a video chat, you can do it. With videos, we're going to talk about videos, how to create videos that really rock, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to do this. Today everyone's used to Zoom and they're not looking for broadcast production quality video per se. And so we're going to walk you through on how to do that. The one thing I do want to say for all of you that are on board with the virtual exhibit is I want you to think a little differently. If you have multiple products, multiple services, multiple solutions you're trying to deliver, do not try to promote them all, right? This is the time where, because of the digital world and the lack of control over time and the distraction, where you've got to really work a hierarchy. You've got to prioritize what product services you're going to feature. And my suggestion for that is, number one, lead with new. 9 out of 10 people that walk into an exhibit hall live want to see what and who's new. That does not change online. It's the same thing. They want to know what's new, right? Hot. You have certain product services right now that really speak to the challenges your audience is facing, the problems they're having. Feature those. Lead with your hot, your trending. What's really selling right now for you? Which of your products are best designed to solve a challenge, whether it's safety or sanitation or whatever, touchless contact, whatever, right? Feature those. And many of you, if you're a multiple product service company, probably have the 80-20 rule, meaning that 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your products or services. So you're going to want to use your virtual exhibit, of course, to reinforce your pillar products and services. So pro tip again, don't bring it all. Less is more. Lead with new. Feature what's hot, what's trending, what's top of the mind, and reinforce your pillar products. Leave everything else off. You can cross-sell anything after you get the customer engagement. Don't try to sell it all online. Get very focused. Get laser focused. That's how you'll increase your relevance to the dental community, and that's how you'll increase your importance to your community. Okay, let's talk critical success factors. You know me, I'm always looking for what are the 20%, the 20% of activities that'll generate 80% of the value or 80% of the results that we get. You know, like I identified the top 5 for live trade shows. I've been thinking about what does it come down to for a virtual exhibit. Number 1, make sure that you are listed in the correct product categories. Product category is one of the key navigational tools that attendees use on virtual events to determine where they're going to go and what booths they're going to visit. So you want to make sure that you're featured in the correct categories. Number 2, you've got to take a very close look at the functionality of your virtual booth, and you've got to create an experience, right? Because this is still experiential, right? And it's got to be worthy of the attendees' time and attention. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work, right? But it's not that hard. I'm going to give you the key questions and give you the best practices. But, you know, when you're online, you're going to be competing with, you know, however many other exhibitors. It's got to be worthy of their time and attention. Number 3, you can't, just like a live show, really, you can't just roll your helmet out on the field and think you're going to win the game. Even more so in the virtual space. You've got to proactively promote your participation before, during, and after the event, because again, this virtual event and your virtual booth is open all the way through the end of the year. So you've got a gathering place to take your people, right? If you can't get out and see them face to face out in the marketplace, out in the community, but you got to promote. See, now ODA, you know that Suzanne and Amy got your back, and you know that they are going to turn over every leaf and spend every dollar that they can find to promote and drive dental professionals to the virtual event. They're going to do what they can do to get them into the hall. But here's the thing, don't just rely on ODA. If there was ever a time when you have to roll up your sleeves and identify who your target audience is, what your value proposition is, and reach out to them through media to get them to the virtual event and into your virtual booth, you got to do it, right? They're going to do their part, but if you lay back and go, well, geez, I'll just throw my virtual booth up and everybody will come running. Probably not going to work like that. Okay, just being honest here. I'm not going to pull punches today. We're in very serious times here, right? If we're going to play the game, let's play the game to win here, right? And let's make sure we cover all of our bases. And finally, as you interact with visitors virtually, and you'll see the different ways, we're going to show you the different ways to interact with them. You got to make sure that you're capturing information about the visitor, and just like a live show, you got to follow up. Whatever it is you're wanting them to do next, follow up. Capture, follow up, capture, follow up. So these are, you know, at a high level, I would call these the 4 critical success factors, for a virtual exhibit. Now, let's dive in and let's start kind of getting into your planning here, okay? You've got a relatively short window here, right? So number 1, it always begins with your reasons. You're exhibiting virtually. I want you to identify what are your reasons, okay? And here are the top reasons. Connecting, staying connected with your customers, generating leads and new revenue, brand presence, right? Thought leadership, speaking, educating the market, driving sales, adding position as thought leadership, and whatever other reason you might have. But you know me, reasons are not enough. Reasons are a good starting point. Reasons must be converted to goals. So what I want you to do here is whatever reason you have, as best as you can, convert to a goal. And you'll notice in the virtual world, the goals change a little bit. You definitely want to set a target goal for the number of people that you want to have visit your virtual booth. Chat. We're going to talk about the chat thing in a moment. Chats are a very important part of a virtual event. So you're going to want to set a target for chats, meetings, leads, making announcements, educating your market, social connections. You have the ability to integrate your social media, and that could be a goal to, add at least 500 new dental professionals to our LinkedIn group or whatever you might be doing. And your brand impact and the experience of that. So start with reasons, move to goals. Number 3, clearly define your target audience, right? Is it customers primarily? Is it prospects that are in your sales pipeline? What types of practices? Maybe the number of operatories, maybe the number of procedures or the type of process, whatever it is, clearly define who you want to see at your virtual exhibit. And then develop your messaging, and there's a couple different types of messaging you're going to be creating, and I'm going to show you this in a moment. 5, your communication channels, right? What channels are you going to use before, during, and after the event to communicate? Everything, because the social distancing, and when I went in my dental practice, they sanitized my hand, they put a mask on me, they took my temperature. I had to wait out in the car until they texted and had me come up to the door. So my face-to-face channel has been very limited. My digital channels have to increase radically. Defining your content. What are you going to show, tell, and present on your platform? Then optimizing your virtual booth functionality. And once again, promote before, during, after. Give them a compelling value prop as to why come spend 5 minutes with us, and give them a very clear call to action. Tell them exactly what you want to do. Suzanne, Amy, did you have something you wanted to add to the content as we're moving along here? I may have missed a chat there.
No problem. One thing that we wanted to jump in your previous slide as well, it's important for all of you to know too that we have 3 different ways that people can register for this event, for the virtual annual session. The attendees can register with an all access pass, which gives them access to every one of the CE classes, the virtual hall, all of the experiences. They could also just purchase CE classes individually and do that with the exhibit hall. But for free, all of our attendees could just register for the exhibit hall. And you can register for the exhibit hall. Obviously, the live days will be the 24th and 25th. But just like everything else in your booth space, attendees have access to that from September 24th through December 31st. So as you're building this space, Jefferson had talked about how it'll be active for you through the 31st. You'll be able to refer any of your clients and offices to this space and to your booth specifically. And it won't cost them a dime. If they hadn't registered before for annual session, they can still register for free and have access to the exhibit hall. I just wanted to make that clarification, because when you were talking, Jefferson, about how you can how each exhibitor can use this tool for their own good beyond the exhibit hall space, they really do have that option.
That's awesome. Yeah. So those 3 ways to register, the all access pass, which gives them CE classes, all of the functionality, the CE classes, which still gives them access to the exhibit hall. And you as exhibitors, I would really encourage every exhibitor to, be promoting, attending at a minimum, hey, free to enter the virtual exhibit hall. So, and we'll talk more about promotion on the back end. But yeah, thanks, Suzanne. Very important clarification. So the dental professionals do not have to pay any form of registration fee to access the virtual exhibit hall. And that gives you, the exhibitor, a wide open playing field for the next 4 months. That's a long period. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. Let's, as a starting point, talk a little bit about I think it's important to understand the attendee journey, right? As an exhibitor, and how they ultimately find you. So they start off, as Suzanne mentioned, they pre-register in one of those 3 ways: all access, CE classes, or free exhibit hall pass. They pre-register. Then when they log into the event, right, they're in this virtual event lobby, and it's simulated. It looks very much like walking into a convention center, right? You can see there's a welcome message at the beginning, and then there's course classrooms here, the exhibit hall's this way, there's networking, there's a game board, there's FAQs, agenda, and CEU, and the ability for exhibitors to see your logo here on these circles and these banners, the ability to have your brand visibility, right? Constantly visible, just like a banner that would be hanging in the convention center. So then they enter the exhibit hall, right, by clicking on the box in the upper right. And the two ways they find exhibitors is they can find by alphabetical, or they can find you by your product or service name, right? So let's go to that, and that'll take us to the navigational tile. Once the attendee clicks, the navigational tile will come up, okay? And so this is really their first navigational point to finding your exhibit. If you look in the upper left, search by company or products. Boom, so they can just go in and type, 3M, Bisco, your company name, whatever, and it'll take them to your tile, right? And then at that point, okay, your tile has your logo. It's got your primary contact, whoever you've designated, which includes their email address, their phone number, and your website, right? And there's different ways they can interact with you. Some of these are optional, and there's a little bit of investment, but I'm just going to be honest with you, all of you, you got the virtual booth for free. I think you'd be crazy not to activate some of these optional interactive ways. If you're going to run the race, you want to put a four-legged horse in the race. You don't want to, it's hard to win a race with a one-legged horse, right? That'd be hard. So your video, I'm going to talk about how to optimize your videos, but notice on the tile, you'll see show the case video. That is sometimes that video will be the first thing that makes them decide, do I want to enter this virtual space? Do I want to visit this booth? And I'm going to show you how to craft a video in a moment here. Chat, right? Chat, you definitely want them. You have two levels of chat. You have like a text type, just like you were texting on your phone type chat. And then you have video chat too, right? Which is Zoom, right? Kind of like a Zoom meeting. And then you have, now I can visit your booth. It's another way of interacting. I click that blue button on the bottom. I enter your virtual booth. View show specials. All of you that are product centric, that are looking to use this as a selling platform, you are definitely going to want to create a compelling show special. They have the ability to view all show specials by clicking on the blue link on the top of the tiles on the right there. And once they get into your individual booth, they can view you'll see right there, the yellow button, view show specials. So again, these are like optional, they're add-ons, but again, it would be the same as like Suzanne and Amy gave you the floor space for free, and now you need to get a carpet and you need to put your booth up behind it. Same idea, right? Exhibitors are listed in alphabetical order when they get into the search. And these tiles, by the way, will show up in alphabetical order. Okay, so you can see how it goes here. 3M is a numeric, and you've got A, B, and D, right? It shows you how these tiles are stacked. Okay, now let's get into your booth here. We got to start working on the functionality and understanding what's available and how to optimize all this stuff. Okay, so number one, your key contact, the same person will show up at the top. Product categories, again, I said make sure that you are listed in the correct categories. Those are like tags. That's how they're going to find you. You'll notice 3M here is under curing, fillings, variables, bonding. Make sure you're in those. Your welcome message. I really want you to be thoughtful about what you write there. Make that message very timely, very thoughtful, very relevant, in touch. You'll notice how 3M did it here. We're committed to helping you navigate the complex situation around the health crisis. We're here to help you get your practice back to work and give your patients and your staff peace of mind. So what is your welcome message? What do you want to say to them? What is the purpose for your engagement with them, right? That welcome message. Then you've got your exhibitor description. I'm going to show you how to really write a description with the goal of having them take the next action as a result of reading it. Video links, we talked about video. We're going to do a deeper dive. Chat, social media links on left, show specials, okay? And you have the ability to upload documents. So get very familiar with the look and the feel of your exhibit. Again, I encourage you at a bare bones minimum, get the chat. The video is a must do for me because I understand that attendees it's almost like the commercial that's going to pull them in to my virtual exhibit and cause them to interact with me. Okay, your success is going to come down to how well you optimize the functionality of your virtual exhibit. Okay, so your description, let's talk about that. I'm using a generic one here purposefully. You have a 1,000 character limit. Don't make it too long, right? Don't go, well, geez, I got to burn all 1,000 characters. Say as much as need, as not everything that could be said, but everything that should be said. So you're going to want to be very thoughtful. You've got to write this differently than the way you would for a live exhibition. Okay, here's the key. Okay, the primary goal of your description, you're always going to ask yourself, what do I want the visitor to do as a result of reading this? Is you want them to go, oh, I got to learn more about this. I want to engage with your content, your video, your documents. I want to I want to chat with your staff. I want to submit a brand inquiry, right? So you want to write this description where it's pulling them to the next action. Okay, so I would like you to think about what specific problems your customers are experiencing right now that you are uniquely qualified to help them solve. I would like you to think about what they are grappling with that you can teach them something about. Dental shows are educationally driven events. You are the subject matter expert in your area of expertise. Don't make it all about selling, right? People, there's so much new stuff going on, and there's something you can teach them. So if you can get a learning hook built into your description, good. I would encourage you to start your company description with a question. Questions are the crowbar to the human mind, right? So it's a hook, it's a question. So maybe the question is going to be voicing a specific problem that they're having. Maybe the question is going to be talking about an opportunity of do something better, faster, cheaper, safer, greener, cleaner, right? Maybe it's about the learning. Hey, there are 3 new dynamics happening in the practice today that if you don't know are going to cause you problems. Give us 5 minutes in our virtual booth and you're going to learn A, B, and C, right? That type of stuff. New, remember, new is always going to be a magnet. Talk about new. Have a clear call to action, right? So you're going to start with a question that grabs their brain. You're going to have that next paragraph or 2 add some color to that question, right? To make them go, oh, I got to know more, right? And then you're going to close your description with, now go watch our video or chat with our staff or look at this document or do whatever you want or have a Zoom meeting, whatever it is. End your description with your call to action. Okay, next, your booth staff. They must be registered to be part of your virtual exhibit, so make sure that you register whoever you're going to have attend. I recommend that you feature your knowledge staff, product managers, your technical experts in your pre-marketing. Let people know that your best technical experts are going to be available for one-to-one interaction, either through chat or video chat with them. So feature product managers. You know, you might go, well, I'm going to put my vice president of sales. Well, I don't know. I mean, is that really the best person? You know, I've got an old saying, no one wants to be sold, but everybody wants to buy, right? Everybody wants to learn. So be very thoughtful about who you feature as this primary contact. What person in your organization is going to be deliver the most value, be the most approachable, right? Think about that. During the active hours, make sure that your virtual booth staff are scheduled and that somebody is on your virtual exhibit from 9 to 5 on September 24th, 25th, right? Make sure that you have somebody staffing. You don't want them to click chat, whatever, and no reply at all, right? They're going to walk away from your booth and they probably won't be back. Here's a pro tip. Consider taking a couple hours during these active times and feature your CEO, your senior executives, and give your customers Zoom video access to your CEO or the senior executives, and promote that. Hey, on the 24th between 1 and 2 p.m., the president of our company is going to be, whether it's one-to-one chat, group chat, video chat, whatever, right? But feature your higher level people. And remember, the levels of interactivity: chat, text type based, video chat, right? Where now we're like Zoom or whatever you might be using. Okay. Let's talk about preparing your booth staff. This is a little different environment. They've got to be ready to work it. If you are going to do video chats, make sure that your booth staff looks and dresses the part. I don't know that they have to be in suits and ties, but I think they do have to look like they're ready to conduct business, right? I don't know that I'd be wearing my Grateful Dead T-shirt and looking like I just rolled out of bed, right? And yet I have days when I want to do that, right? But no, not for a Zoom meeting. If you're driving scheduled meetings, right, make sure you have an agenda for the meeting. Don't go into any meeting winging it. Know who the person is, what the objective of the meeting is, what the key points that you want to cover in the meeting are. Have that agenda so the visitor knows and you know, and that you get a lot done in your time together. Develop a list of seek to understand questions. So let's say a hygienist or a assistant all of a sudden requests a chat, and you don't really know this person, and maybe you're not intimately familiar with their practice. What you'll want to do in the early part of these chats is be interested, write this down, be interested, not interesting, right? People's most important topic in the world is themselves. And so having a couple questions like, well, Amy, tell me a little bit about your practice and what you do with the practice, and how are you familiar with us, and what are some of the specific challenges or concerns that you're grappling with right now, and have that nice little list of, let me get to know you before I start talking about my company, my product, how great we are, how long we've been around. Here's one of my pro tips. I would develop a FAQ list. What are the questions that you get hit with about your company and your featured solutions? I would script the answers to these questions in writing, and I would spoon feed those to my virtual staff. I would ask them to have their FAQ list and their printed questions at their fingertips at all times during the live event. This will help you ensure that your questions are being answered consistently, concisely, and effectively. Okay, so make sure that your booth staff is prepared. Documents. Let's talk about uploading documents. There's an area on your virtual exhibit where you can upload files, right? So these files must be PDFs, right? So if you have a Word doc, you have to convert to a PDF. A spreadsheet, convert, whatever, right? Some of the things you'll want to consider uploading, of course, would be product service detailers or brochures, posters, white papers, case studies, checklists, practice management ideas, industry intelligence reports. If you've been featured in dental trade publications, article reprints, if your company has won any form of awards or recognition, not a bad thing to upload. If it makes sense for you, client lists, testimonial letters, these are all the types of things that would be good to look at uploading. Make sure you have a hierarchy, because Suzanne, Amy, do you know, is there a limit on the number of documents that we can upload?
Yes, as far as I know right now, and I was working to try and increase this, they're limiting it to one. So they would have you combine everything into one large document.
Okay, one large document, and so we're looking into if that can be flexible. So here's like a couple documents, and again, if you have to do one, then I would order these in some form of a logical sequence if it's one document. If it's a 10-page document, bring your bring your biggest, most powerful document first. For me, the first thing out of the gate, right, like in uploading, would be that one-page overview document that presents who you are, what types of customers, who you serve, right? What your core products and services are, what your value proposition is, what value, what problems do you solve, what opportunities do you create, how do you help your clients manage their practices better, and your USP, what makes you different. There's really only two big questions in the mind of buyers when they're looking to source something. Number one is why at all, the value proposition. Number two is why you, the unique selling proposition. And I think you need to be able to clearly, concisely, specifically, believably communicate both of those messages, the value prop and the USP, the unique selling prop. Okay, and then in that document, how to engage with our staff and how to contact with you. The second one, this is a super cool document here, and not 1 in 100 exhibitors will do this, is your customers are not experts in buying your type of product service. They're running a practice. They're treating patients. They're not an expert in how to evaluate and make a well-informed buying decision. So you may want to put together like a checklist of the primary evaluation or the questions that a customer should ask themselves when they evaluate your type of product or service, right? And then you'll want to make it 3 columns wide. So you'll have, here are the questions down the left. Column 1 will be your company and your answers to these evaluation questions. And then leave the other 2 blank, right? Fill in the answers for yours, leave the other 2 blank. Most buyers, when they're trying to source a product or service, they shortlist to 3 potential vendors. Now, I actually did this when I first started my business all the way back in 91. I did a very thorough competitive analysis of who I saw as my main competitors. And every time I talked with a potential customer, I said, look, I know so-and-so, and they're good companies, they have good products, they have good services. My goal is to help you make a well-informed buying decision, whether that means doing business with me or not. And, here are the 10 questions, based on our experience working with hundreds of customers like you, that you'll want to ask as you make this decision. And every time I used this form in live fire, I won the deal 100% of the times, every time. So this is very powerful. So be thoughtful about what documents you're going to upload. If it does turn out that it's one PDF, organize them into a flow, right? What do you want them to see first? What do you want them to see second? What do you want them to see third? And these are 2 really good documents, I think, that would be helpful for a lot of exhibitors. Video. We are living in the video age. I just saw a research report that most practice managers are highly influenced by video, more so even than words or copy or text. Now, you have to pre-record your video, and then your video will be uploaded into a player, similar to what it looks like here, right? So your video topics, short company overview, right? That would be a sound video. Product service overview. Hey, we're featuring these 3 products in our virtual exhibit because of problem A, problem B, problem C. We're going to give you a very high-level overview of these products, and then you chat with our staff to get more into the woods. Maybe it's meet our team, customer interviews. Maybe you have a product and then a customer testimonial video, a product, a customer testimonial, all in one video. Maybe the biggest thing you got to do is communicate what makes your company, your people, your products different. Maybe that's what your video is about. Maybe, if it makes sense, a tour of your facility, walking around your offices, your production facility, or whatever, right? So best practices for video, okay? Keep it short, 3 to 10 minutes. You could probably go a little longer, but not much. We have found with web video, having the length of the video showing on the title screen, 3 minutes and 37 seconds is extremely helpful. if you click on a video that is an hour long and 4 minutes into it, you go, oh my God, I had no idea this was an hour, you're probably going to click off the video. So as a best practice, have the length of the video visible on the title screen. The title sells the movie. Your video is a short movie. You're definitely going to want to have a text copy-based title right on the screen. There's an old saying, people don't go to the movie unless they know the title of the movie. Same here. That title should make them want to view the video too. As you get into the video itself, use subtitles and use captions. Subtitles and captions. People, if you have instruments, devices, if you're just kind of, holding it and they're seeing the physical instrument, that's one thing, but people are people watchers. So try to get people, faces, people into your videos. Always, at the end of your video, have a crystal clear call to action. What exactly do you want them to do next as a result of viewing this video, and communicate it verbally and visually through copy and text. And here's probably the best formula I know of for scripting a short video. Open with a hook. That's that hook that really states the problem, the opportunity, or the learning. The story, right? 3 points. It's about what you're going to have time to make. 3 compelling points. Point A, point B, point B, and then the close or the call to action. So the hook pulls them into the video. The 3 points deliver the content, the message. The close, the call to action, guides them exactly what you want them to do next. Okay, so there's some outlines for videos. Capturing leads. Okay, there's 3 types of leads that you can capture. Number 1 is a brand inquiry. They'll have the ability to click brand inquiry, and you'll see it's like qualifiers here. What do you want to have happen next? And I believe these qualifiers are customizable. So if you want to customize and put these into a natural flow, like which products are you interested in? How would you like to learn? Whatever they are, order these in the natural flow. They request information. Remember, on your virtual exhibit, there's a button, request information. That'll be a lead source for you. When you chat with visitors, either live or video, that'll be a source of a lead for you. Again, the chat are options. I strongly encourage you to, at a minimum, do the live chat. Ideally, have live and video chat. What you could do too is one of your hyperlinks you can put hyperlinks into your document, like your PDF, is to maybe put a contest together. Hey, we're going to give away this or that. And then when they click on the link, it can take them to a landing page where you can capture visitor information, qualifying information. And so that would be a way for you to, an additional way for you to capture leads is hyperlink to a landing page with a lead capture form and give them something for visiting the landing page. You will get a visitor report. So the platform, you're going to know who and how many, your contact information, answers to the brand inquiry questions, and there will be other features available in terms of your report. So you'll want to take a close look at your visitor report. It'll give you a lot of data on that. The most important thing that I can tell you is that if you get chat time, FaceTime with somebody, make sure you capture the information because just the chat in and of itself and the video chat may not give you the information you need. So ask yourself, what are the 3 to 5 most important things I need to learn and capture about a visitor, and make sure you capture that information during your interactions on your virtual event. Okay, following up. Boy, yeah, a lot to cover. This could have been a half-day webinar, I guess. So your lead, your report, right? Move them into your CRM quickly. Source or tag them to your ODA virtual meeting. If it's an existing contact that is already in your CRM, then enter a history record. We spoke with Dr. Jones on day 2 of the live event. Dr. Jones was having a problem with this. He was interested in that. Capture this in your CRM. You're going to manage your follow-up activity through your CRM, not through the virtual event platform, right? Everything will be happening in your CRM. If it's a new contact, you have no previous, then tag them to ODA. Predefine your follow-up actions. What are the send literature, send a sample, schedule a meeting, do a proposal. What are your next actions? Get your follow-up plan ready in advance. Fast follow-up is really important. When you're talking with visitors, either chat live or face, ask them, what do you think our next step should be? How would you like us to follow up with you? If the visitor collaborates on the next step, their commitment is more real. Move fast, right? And do what you say you're going to do. Don't let days and weeks go by. Move fast. Make sure you're adding value on your follow-up touch points. It's not always about sell, sell, sell. We're all knocked off center. We're all sometimes looking for just a compassionate ear to listen to us. You know, maybe we want to vent a little bit. Maybe we want to talk about our frustrations and our problems, and be that person. Be there for your customers. And don't stop short. Biggest mistake I've seen in my 30 years in trade shows is the average exhibitor will scan a card, swipe a badge, whatever. They'll send information. They'll send a couple emails. They'll make 1 or 2 phone calls. If the person doesn't respond, they stop. B2B research suggests it takes an average of 12 touch points to convert a lead to some physical next action, whatever that is. So do not stop short. If the lead's worth taking, it's worth following up on. All right, let me take a look in the question queue. I imagine that we're going to have a ton of questions on this. I'm going to look at that right now. And yeah, we got several questions. This is a good chance. What I want everyone to do is take a breath and say, wow, I just got hit with a lot of information here. What question do I have? Go into your queue and type your question right now. I'm going to go through driving traffic, and then Suzanne, Amy, and myself are going to answer all of your questions. So take a moment, catch your breath, go in and fire away with your questions. All right, so let's talk marketing. Remember what we said, you know, ODA is going to do their part, but you got to do your part, okay? So promoting your virtual booth is not a maybe, oh, I wish if I had time. It's a must, right? It's even more so, it's even more important than in the live world. Your value proposition is going to be the key, right? When you define who your target is and the problem they're having and how you can help them, it's not about selling, it's about helping, right? That's going to be the basis of your value proposition, and that's what's going to help you draw traffic to your virtual exhibit. So again, what is the single biggest problem your customers are facing right now that you can help them solve? What are they going to gain, save, achieve, or avoid? Define it. What is one thing that if they give you 3 to 5 minutes, 7 minutes on your virtual booth, what can you teach them that's going to add value to their world, their practice, their life, their patient care, their practice management, their safety, their sanity, their security, right? So define your value props. Next, work your warm circle. You know, as Suzanne said, you have the power with these free exhibit hall passes to invite and bring as many people as you want. So work your warm circle. Start with your customer list, you know, your actives and your inactives, prospects who are in your sales pipeline, recent inquiries, people that have visited your website, people that have downloaded documents, you know, lead magnets that you've used. Hey, people that visited your booth last year at the show. Work your social media network, your channel. Promote your participation in the event. You know, emphasize if they're not going for CE or an all access, they can come to the exhibit hall for free. So work your warm circle. Segment your lists. Customers get one approach. Prospects in the pipeline get another. New potential opportunities have another. These are different lists. The same message won't appeal to all 3 of them. Get marketing in that 2-week, maybe 3 weeks before. The sweet spot for a virtual event is, strangely enough, about a week and a half before the event. I'm doing a virtual summit tomorrow, and 80% of my registrations came in at exactly 1.5 weeks before the event in terms of virtual. Move more towards digital media, email, social media, landing pages, and hey, not a bad idea to start picking up the phone and calling people. People are isolated, and you'd be amazed. People want to talk. Probably now so more now so than ever before. 3 touch points, right? Try to make sure you land those 3 strong hits, and it seems to work best through multiple media. Always give them a clear reason to attend the virtual event and to visit your booth. The 4 keywords I've always talked about: what are they going to see? What are they going to do? What are they going to learn? What are they going to get by visiting your virtual booth? So try to build your talking points and your messaging around see, do, learn, get. Review, this is a big one. Listen carefully here. Review the CE sessions, review the educational sessions being held. Ask yourself, which sessions speak directly to your product or service? Meaning, as a result of attending that session, their interest level is going to be piqued. Promote those sessions out to your universe. Suggest that after they attend this session or that session, hey, drop by our booth to continue the conversation. This will help you drive a lot of traffic to your booth. Remember, when they step through a session, their brains are piqued. The topic is right in the front and center, and they're looking for, how do I learn more? Well, they're going to learn more from you, right? Offer a reward. You might want to offer some form of reward for attending the virtual expo and specifically for visiting your booth. And if you're going to really try to drive one-to-one chats or schedule private Zoom meetings, which you can use through Outlook and other scheduling tools, you may want to increase the value of the reward to try to get those meetings confirmed and locked down. Finally, ODA has marketing opportunities. You can see the exhibitor promotional opportunities here. The banner ads are available. And these are extremely, if you were to buy these on site, I'm sure they'd be way more than this. A lobby page banner is $500. Getting on the agenda page, which is a really good place to be, right? Because they're coming. The CE course page, the exhibit hall page. You can get banner ads. These are extremely affordable. Show specials page, $350. These are like so low priced. A featured spot in the gamification. Okay, so before I go further, Amy, Suzanne, could you talk briefly, give us a little quick insight, gamification. What's happening there?
So in a nutshell, basically every attendee will have an opportunity to earn points on everything they do on our virtual platform. They get points if they enter the exhibit hall. They get points if they visit an exhibitor in the exhibit hall. They get points for registering for a course, for actually completing a course. Through our little questions, we have special events that will be going on. They'll have an opportunity to collect points, and with those points, we're giving away prizes. And I love our attendees. I love our dentists, but it always impresses me of what they'll do for a $10 Target gift card. So it's a way for us to incentivize them to participate. One of the things about a virtual exhibit hall is we're not able to have the kinds of activities that we typically do to draw traffic to the hall. So gamification is really our way to try to drive traffic into the hall and to get people to participate.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and that does help. We find that it doesn't have to be just all about learning and serious. Gamification adds a level of fun to it, and it does. And other shows that I've worked with so far that have provided gamification, it has provided a big boost from getting the attendees from the educational sessions into the virtual exhibit hall. Okay, so I'm going to go into the questions here. Be ready. Suzanne and Amy, I'm sure some of these will be in your wheelhouse. I'll kind of give them to you. The first one isn't so much a question, more a statement. There are limitations on the design features, and yes, I agree there are. The follow-up is a question which says, how do you suggest creating a virtual booth experience if the platform is, quote, flat? That's where content, marketing, and rich media. That's where your thoughtfulness about what content you are going to feature on it, and rich media through your video. Video will be one of the ways you're going to want to really make sure that that you're bringing timely, relevant content that is not easily accessible elsewhere, and that your videos and that are rich, done well. You do them well. Suzanne, Amy, this is a question being your, will exhibitors have access to a pre-registered list of attendee for the virtual event?
No, we typically have a mailing list available. If anyone wants a mailing list of our attendees, which would include last year's attendees as well, that's how we've done it, we're happy to do that. Again, we're very cognizant of the fact that it's a 2-week turnaround, but 2 weeks for the launch date, it's available through the end of the year. So we would make that available as we always have. You would get email addresses and other contacts with your leads. So you'll have that follow up, but we won't have an email address in advance.
Okay. Mailing list is available, but not email lists. And Suzanne, is that a virtual conference specific? These are people that have registered for the conference mail list, or is it the complete list, or how does that work?
Yes, we do this. We've done this every year, Jefferson, and we'll follow the same plan, I believe, that this year. I said I believe. We will follow the same plan that we did this year, and that is that we'll give you anybody that has registered for this current event at the time that you've requested the list, and we'll also then give you last year's registration list as well.
Okay, good. So it is then. It's a mail list, and it does have both virtual. They've registered for the virtual, and they attended the live meeting last year. Yeah, and today, like if you have access to the name, the practice name, the doctor or the hygienist assistant, whatever, certainly that's workable. You can do that. Emails, as we know, it's really everyone's kind of weirding out about email nowadays and not giving it out. Can Spam Act and all that other stuff. Someone mentioned this, and Suzanne, maybe you can help me with this one. The question is, you keep mentioning free booth. How's this different than the $750 virtual booth?
So what we've done is any company who has registered for annual session for 2020 had the opportunity to transfer that payment, deposit, or full amount to the 2021 booth space. And when we transfer that money to you, you have two benefits. Number one, you're getting your 2021 booth at the 2021 price.
2020 price.
Sorry, at the 2020 price. Thank you, Amy. So let's make sure I said that correctly. The 2021 booth that you're receiving at the 2020 price. So you'll pay no increase in that fee. Plus, we've thrown in the virtual experience. If you've not already committed to this year, or you committed to this year but took a refund for the meeting, then the cost of the booth is $750, and that includes the lead retrieval portion.
Okay, thank you. I think that helps make things a lot clearer. Next question, is Zoom the video platform for the meeting?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the videos, the video portion, the video chat will be powered by Zoom. Okay, so if you're familiar with Zoom. So the next question is, when you get a request for a Zoom meeting, can you reply to the meeting request directly to the individual? And if so, can you ask the person what they're interested in meeting about?
That, as far as I understand it, it's specifically a meeting request, but that's something I'll need to follow up. I'm not sure how much communication can go back and forth other than scheduling the meeting, but that's something I can find out. If that person wants to email me directly, I can pursue that.
Yeah. Hey, and by the way, if you asked a question here that is really of a one-to-one, then what we're going to do is follow up with you after the virtual event. You'll hear from Amy or Suzanne directly. All of your questions that you're typing in right now are captured, and so we'll know who asked the question and be able to, anything that we can't cover while we're live here, we're definitely going to follow up. And please, we said all along, this is all new to us, so please don't be shy at any time about reaching out with questions. We're all learning this as we go together. So thank you so much. Where do we find the capture leads element on the virtual platform? Someone was asking out, where does the capture leads element show up? Is that like
That's
on
something
Go ahead.
Sorry, that's something that's set up when once they've registered for the booth, they receive a login to the virtual platform from the company who's maintaining it. And when they're setting up that information at that time, that's when they learn how to get access to all the rest of that information.
And I think it's probably important for us to, you bet, the company that we work with is the registration company that we've worked with in the past. Their name had been QMS. They've changed their name this last year, prior to COVID, to 11th and Gather. So if you do receive any information from 11th and Gather, they're actually, they've always been our registration company. They've helped us with this virtual platform and created that. So they'll be the ones contacting you and getting information to you directly. So know that name.
Okay, yeah, that's important. Next, will this be accessible to re-listen to at a later time? Yeah, we're totally recording this session. We'll put it up on the Exhibitor Success and ROI Center. It'll be available for unlimited replay viewing. And I do encourage you to go back and, as you're working on a component, if you're working on your video, come in, go to the section on video and see how well you lined up as you're writing your description. Same thing there, all of that. Next question is the actual meeting on a Zoom platform? No, Zoom is the video chat portion. The actual meeting platform is Pathable, right? Suzanne, is it Pathable?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So no, Zoom is right. So the whole virtual event is not happening on Zoom. The Zoom video meeting is like a plug-in to it. It's not the platform. Let's see. Next question. Is there a link to our website when a customer enters our booth? Your website link is right on your tile. As when I showed you at the beginning, it has your logo and it has your key content.
If you choose to put it there.
Site link is on your company tile. And of course, you can have it on all of your documents and everywhere else, but your website link will be visible. Let's see. Next question. A challenge in previous virtual exhibits has been assistants and office staff. This is an interesting one. Logging in and watching lectures to get the CE credits for the doctors. How will you try and prevent this from happening so doctors, view the virtual event and ultimately visit the exhibit hall?
One would tell you that you could have that problem even in live CE, but we've done everything possible we can to achieve the fact that CE credit is going to the person who's registered and who views it. It is difficult. It's the virtual world. I would tell you that's a difference between live CE and the virtual happening in online CE at all. We do know that people will share, like one person will register, but 4 or 5 people will watch the video. That's perfectly fine, but not all 4 or 5 of those people will get the CE credit. But yes, there are certain things that we aren't going to be able to monitor completely. Ethics is one of them. And so if that were to happen and the doctor doesn't participate and somebody else does under their name, that person still has to sign their license and know that they're committing fraud if they didn't take the CE.
Right. Yeah. So that's basically an ethical and legal issue. Very hard to monitor or administrate that digitally, and like I said, even live. I want to add to the point about doctors visiting the exhibit hall, because all of you will have access to the pre-registered attendee mailing list. You'll kind of know who's visiting. It's really, again, ODA's responsibility is to get them into the virtual event. and to have them migrate to the virtual exhibit hall, but it's your responsibility as the exhibitor to give them a reason to visit your booth. And so, promoting is going to be critically important. And I will tell you this too, a study by On24, who's a virtual event vendor, found that visitors were more likely, many visitors were more likely to enter a virtual booth and chat with staff virtually, 47% more than even live. Because in face-to-face, right, you're talking to a person, it's kind of hard to just turn your back and walk out, although some will. So the receptivity to engagement virtually, be it chat or even video chat, is higher than live because they feel like they have more control. If they're doing a virtual chat with you and it's not adding value or of interest, they can just end the chat, right? It's a little harder to do that when they're standing face to face in your booth. I mean, they can, but it's not it's awkward, right? Let's see. So as a clarification question, Suzanne, so the capture leads part of the virtual booth won't be visible until the booth is live. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Allison, I hope that answers your question. We've got someone asking a question saying, can WebEx or Teams be used for video meetings instead of Zoom because our company doesn't allow us to use Zoom?
Now, in this case, the embedded platform for that is Zoom.
It's Zoom, yeah. So we don't have control of it. So we are limited, certainly, we have a virtual event vendor who really develops the platform, and then we have these plugins. And so, Zoom is. So to answer your question, video chats that happen through the virtual event platform will be run through Zoom. Now, if you're reaching out to them outside of it and having a video chat, you can obviously use any platform you like. But within the platform, Zoom is the official video chat feature. So that is all I'm seeing right now for major questions. We've run 15 minutes over. I just want to close this by, first of all, thanking every one of you for being an exhibitor and a member and a part of the Ohio Dental Association. I want to thank you for spending time here with us today. We're all learning as we, go through each event. I'm learning more and more from each event. It's my hope that today has given you the confidence to step into the virtual world. I hope it's given you some practical guidance in terms of how to optimize and how to drive traffic to your booth. Suzanne, Amy, closing comments or thoughts from the Ohio Dental Association?
Again, applaud all of you for sticking with us and trying something different. We thank you for your participation. Email Amy or I if you have any questions or recommendations or suggestions. We're glad to be in this with you, and fingers crossed. We're challenging and starting a new day and a new experience. But I will tell you that there's been surveys that have been done with our member dentists that do say that they're not ready to go to meetings now, but they're really anxious to get back to meetings. They're anxious to meet face to face. They're anxious to see all of you. They're anxious to participate. So thank you for giving us this bridge to get them from this year to next year. But we certainly look forward to seeing you in September of 2021 back in Columbus.
And I echo that. I can't wait for us to get back together to face, and hopefully it'll be here sooner than later. So this concludes our webinar on how to optimize and drive traffic to your ODA virtual exhibit. Please be sure you'll get an email in a few moments with a very short survey. Please give us feedback on today. We really need and value that. And most of all, use what you learned. It doesn't take a million ideas. It takes 2 or 3 good ideas actively applied. And I think you'll look back at your virtual exhibit experience. It's probably going to exceed your expectations. So have a great day, everybody. And like Suzanne said, I can't wait to see you all face to face again soon.